In a strong response to Canada's allegations, India has rejected claims of interference in Canadian elections, instead accusing Canada of consistently interfering in India's internal affairs. Recently, the Ministry of External Affairs expressed disappointment over the reports and clarified that it is Canada's action that has led to growing concern in India, including the rise of illegal migration and criminal activities. First, let me tell you what the report says about Canada's allegation. The National Security and Intelligence Committee of Parliamentarians in Canada recently released a very special report on foreign interference, alleging that India has been actively involved in attempting to disrupt Canada's democratic processes. According to the report, India is now the second largest foreign interference threat to Canada, with its activities expanding beyond just countering pro-Khalistani movement to influencing politicians, targeting ethnic media as well, and manipulating Indo-Canadian community. Now, this also included claims of media manipulation, where Indian agencies allegedly worked to discredit political leaders in Canada, specifically through strategic media narratives. The report mentioned that India allegedly engaged in building a network of contacts among journalists, members of ethno-culture communities, and some MPs to further its influence in Canada. The document also pointed out that India's intelligence agencies might have been involved in orchestrating these activities designed to sway public opinion or even affect voting behavior. Let me tell you the specific allegations now. First, media manipulation. The report accused Indian agencies of having media influence to spread negative narratives about Canadian political leaders, aiming to damage their reputation, specifically around election period. Secondly, discrediting political leaders. One of the most serious allegations was that India allegedly attempted to discredit a political leader by using material prepared by Indian intelligence agencies, and that was just to create a smear campaign. Thirdly, building networks in Canada. The report detailed how India allegedly built a network involving journalists, community leaders, and even MPs in Canada who were thought to have helped advance India's political agenda. Fourthly, pro-Khalistan activities. The report highlighted that India's actions were primarily motivated by a desire to counter pro-Khalistani movements in Canada, which seek to create an independent Sikh state. Now, this is a very sensitive issue for India, which has a long history of tackling Sikh separatist movement within its border. Now, shedding some light on India's rejection on the claims. India, however, has rejected all the allegations outright. The MEA condemned the reports as baseless and misleading, asserting that Canada's actions have consistently created challenges for India. India accused Canada of turning a blind eye to the activities of anti-India elements within its borders, which has led to organized crimes and illegal migration. India further criticized Canada's inaction in addressing the rising influence of pro-Khalistani groups, which India considers a threat to its national security. The Indian government has pointed out that Canadian authorities have failed to clamp down on anti-India elements, which has indirectly created an environment of instability and illegal activities. Let's look at a bigger picture here. Now, this public spat between India and Canada is just the latest chapter in what has been growing diplomatic tension between the two nations. These tensions reached a peak after India's strong stance on pro-Khalistan activities and Canada's perceived lack of action against separatist elements within its border. In fact, back in 2023, Canada had already drawn criticism from India after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau voiced support for pro-Khalistan groups in Canada, further straining their relationship. The issues surrounding Khalistan have been a long-standing point of contention between the two countries, as India accuses Canada of being a safe haven for separatist groups. Additionally, Canada's growing refugee and immigration crisis, exacerbated by rising illegal migration, has also contributed to a strain in a bilateral relationship. with India criticizing Canada for offering asylum to individuals involved in criminal activities that undermine both nations' security. And this has impacted the diplomatic relationship between the two countries. The ongoing tension between the two nations have not only affected political relationship but also economic and cultural ties. Let me give you an example here. There have been calls for boycotting Indian products in Canada, specifically from members of Khalistan movement, while Indian students and professionals in Canada have also reported being caught in the crossfire of these disputes. Now, in response to this, India has called for Canada to take immediate actions to stop encouraging criminal activities that impact both the countries, particularly illegal migration from South Asia, which is seen as a serious concern. Looking ahead, now let me tell you what's next for India and Canada relation. Now, India's rejection of Canada's claims sets a stage for further diplomatic negotiations and possible confrontations between the two nations. The United Nations and other international bodies may get involved as both India and Canada attempt to navigate these complex issues while balancing their own national interests. The situation between India and Canada is likely to evolve further as both nations now face a very delicate situation, where addressing these concerns diplomatically will be very essential to maintain peaceful bilateral relationship.